Whenever I travel, I try to pack as light as possible, but somehow I always end up carrying a bunch of little accessories that either don't get used or just make things more complicated. And when your phone becomes your main camera, navigation device, and travel companion, those small annoyances add up pretty quickly. After spending 3 weeks traveling through China, I realized the best accessories aren't the ones with the longest feature list. They're the ones that you stop thinking about because they simply work. So in this video I want to show you phone accessories by ESR that I actually use every day, what surprised me, and why it's become part of my travel setup, so that going from place to place becomes just a little bit more stress-free. In my opinion, what you bring while traveling has to be rethought from the ground up. So for example, protecting your phone isn't just about preventing scratches anymore. It's about making the entire experience easier. Good accessories should keep your phone safe, look aesthetically pleasing, stay lightweight, work with MagSafe, and add useful functionality instead of unnecessary bulk. The problem is that many accessories do the opposite. Case becomes bulkier, wireless charging stops working properly, and cheap screen protectors scratch easily. So the accessories I used for this trip to improve my phone experience I barely noticed because they quietly protected my phone and made it a lot more useful. One of the first things I buy with every new phone is a screen protector. Spending over 1,000 euros on a phone but skipping a protector to save a few euros simply doesn't make sense to me. One unlucky drop can easily cost hundreds in repair. And screen protectors can be really cool if you know about the variety. There are different types depending on what use case you need them for, from anti-reflective to privacy protectors and more. In my case I'm using the UltraFit Armorite Pro that's very hard. But if you want to learn more about these differences, I also made a video on the ESR channel covering the features of different screen protectors. The cool thing about them is that one of the pain points for most, the insulation, gets made almost foolproof. Just clean your screen, wipe away any oils, place the phone into the insulation frame, close it, pull the dust removal strip, and the protector applies itself. The screen protector I brought for my travels is a 10x version, because the higher hardness isn't just meant to prevent cracks, it's also more scratch resistant. Sand, for example, is surprisingly hard and can scratch materials that even keys sometimes can't. Since your phone constantly comes into contact with keys, dust, sand, and everything inside your backpack or pocket, that extra protection gives me really peace of mind. It also covers the entire screen, which I think every screen protector should do. So I believe a good screen protector is a must-have, because that's really the point, not worrying about your phone but simply enjoying the trip. And to protect both sides of my phone and have even more peace of mind, I decided to use the hybrid magnetic case. This case didn't make the phone feel bulky, the rubberized texture feels secure in the hand, and the branding was subtle enough that you barely notice it. What's cool about this one, you can prop the phone up vertically for FaceTime calls or for scrolling through videos, or you flip it horizontally for watching movies or YouTube videos. During my trip I constantly used it in cafes, on trains, airplanes, in hotels, and even when taking selfies. One unexpected bonus was that this little stand somehow became also my fidget toy. There's something oddly satisfying about opening and closing it. I mean, just listen to the click. I suppose constantly playing with it could eventually wear out the hinge, but after several weeks of using it, it still feels just as solid as when I got it first. The third tool I wanted to show you was probably the biggest surprise, because before ESR sent it to me, I honestly didn't even know that this existed. I'm talking about the camera lens protectors. But after using them throughout my trip, it ended up giving me the most unexpected peace of mind. Modern smartphones invest heavily in the camera systems, and the lenses are one of the most valuable parts of the phone. Yet while most cases protect the body of the device, they usually leave the lens completely exposed. To me that always felt like an obvious weak point. Installation is straightforward and very similar to screen protectors. You clean the lenses, align the protector, and press it into place. Everything you need is included in the box, and even a removal tool if you decide to take it off again. My biggest concern was the image quality. Whenever you add another layer of glass in front of the camera lens, you naturally wonder if it's going to affect your photos. ESR advertises 94.5% light transmission, and after using it myself, I honestly couldn't notice any meaningful difference. My photos stayed sharp, there was no visible vignetting, and I didn't notice any obvious loss in image quality. The real test came while traveling. I used this continuously for over a month through dust, rain, and changing temperature. I kinda expected dust, moisture, or even fogging to eventually appear underneath the protector, but surprisingly none of that happened. Everything stayed properly sealed the entire time, which honestly impressed me. One thing to keep in mind is compatibility. If you're using a third-party case, make sure the camera cutout is large enough for the lens protectors. Lastly, let me show you a neat all-in-one charging solution. Because I personally hate cable clutter or multiple charging bricks. But when traveling, charging can become one of the most tricky things, especially when needing to charge multiple devices overnight. So the CryoBoost Foldable 3-in-1 magnetic charging station is a pleasant tool I used throughout my trip. As I said, I try to pack intentionally, so everything I bring should have a purpose. Since I use my iPhone every day, my AirPods constantly, I probably listen to more music than I actually sleep some days, and my Apple Watch mainly for sports, having one place to charge all three overnight was incredibly convenient. The charging station powers all three devices at once, and if you don't use AirPods or an Apple Watch, those charging modules simply fall away, keeping everything compact. The most interesting feature though isn't actually the charging, it's the cooling. Wireless charging naturally generates heat, and once the phone gets too warm, it automatically slows down charging. CryoBoost solves that with a built-in fan that actively cools both the charger and the phone, helping maintain faster and more consistent charging. Despite being very small, it delivers power up to 25 watts and can charge an iPhone 17 Pro to around 60% in about 30 minutes. I use it almost every night in different hotels. Since many rooms only have one convenient wall outlet, I could charge my phone and my AirPods simultaneously instead of constantly swapping cables. The only downside is that it's a little bit heavier than I would ideally want for an everyday pocket carry. But the weight feels sturdy, doesn't tip over, and considering it packs magnets, charging coils, a cooling fan, and 3 charging modules into such a compact design, I understand where the weight goes. The biggest thing I took away from this trip is that the best travel accessories aren't the ones that add more features. They're the ones that quietly remove friction, protect your gear, and let you focus on the experience instead of your equipment. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you're interested in checking them out, I included some useful information in the description below. With that being said, thank you so much for watching until the very end, and I will catch you in the next one.